Hello there, beauty ravers, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Raven, and this is where I like to rave about beauty. If you would ever so kindly hit that like and subscribe button to become part of my little family here on YouTube, it means so much to me. Now, without further ado, let's jump on into the video. Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 of my eyeshadow palette, Declutter. Oh my goodness, we still have so many to get through, and it's crazy because the first part of this video was already like an hour long. And I say an hour after edited. It was a lot of hours before. But we have a lot to get through today, so I'm gonna shut my lip. I'll go over what we went over in the first part of this decluttering. In my first part, which I highly recommend watching if you haven't already, I explained how I wanted to do this, which was guessing how many I had, then counting them, telling you how many I actually have, and then going through them and setting a goal for how many I want to declutter, and then actually doing the decluttering. So the guess I made in that video was 136, I believe, and I was very wrong. I have 170 eyeshadow palettes. I know, it's a lot. You can come for me if you want. I get it. I'm mad at myself. But we did declutter 21 of them, which was good, but we need to get rid of 49 more. It's a lot. It's a lot, guys. Hopefully we can do that today, but let's get on into it. So I have this palette from Beautē, and this is their Bright Matte 9-color palette. This is a rainbow palette, and it's actually super duper cute. And the quality, guys, I was shocked. This was like a $7 palette. So like, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but I got a whole lot in return. This is amazing. If you're looking for a good, affordable, really highly pigmented palette, this is the one I recommend. I'm very, very happy with this, and it's not going anywhere. Next, I only have one Colored Rain eyeshadow palette, which is kind of surprising because I love Colored Rain. I just haven't tried a whole lot of their eyeshadows, but this is their Mimosa Moment. Oh my goodness, what an indie brand to love, honestly. And I believe Colored Rain is a Black-owned indie brand, which we love here. So I love this palette because it is neutral, but it's a super nice, compact neutral palette that you can pretty much throw in your purse and call it a day because you can wear this on an everyday basis. I do like this even though I'm not the biggest neutral lover. As we can see here, I have a very colorful look on today, which we'll be talking about in a moment, but I did film this and I'll link it, of course. But this is really good for those everyday looks, even though I don't usually do an everyday look because this is my everyday look. I don't have an everyday look. I just play with whatever I want to play with on an everyday basis. If I want a neutral look and I want to take this on the road with me, this is a really good travel palette. I mean, I'm not traveling anytime soon, but when I do, maybe I'll use this, and I'm going to keep it because I do like the formula. I also only have one Artist Couture palette, and this is the Caliente palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm recently, actually. I created a sunset look with this because this is basically what you see, right? This is what I saw first, and I really like the look I created with it, but I don't know if I need it. I'm gonna put this to the maybe pile because I would like to keep this if I can, but I am really trying to get those 49 palettes out of the way. So maybe pile it is. I have two Natasha Denona palettes. This one is the Peak palette, and this one is the Cranberry palette. This one I just got recently on a Boxy add-on, and this one I got in a BoxyCharm box. So BoxyCharm is really coming through. Guys, I love Natasha Denona's formula. I really didn't want to say it. I really didn't. I wanted to be the one person on YouTube who was like, nah, and that completely changed because of BoxyCharm. I would never pay her prices. I'm sorry, Natasha, but these are $45 each. For a 5-pan? Honey, who do you think I am? I mean, Dose of Color's $30 5-pans is about as far as I will go when it comes to a 5-pan eyeshadow palette. It's just, I'm not gonna spend $45. Okay, listen, maybe if this is like the only palettes you have in your collection, I could see that being worth it because the formula is really bomb on these. But I have so much and I plan on buying more. I'm not going to spend a fortune on an eyeshadow palette, even if the quality is really, really good, if I'm not going to use it enough, you know? So anyway, I'm not getting rid of either of these. I think they're really, really good and really good quality. So yeah. Anyway, let's tackle Juvia's Place. Whoo boy, I didn't realize how many I had. Like apparently I thought I was a collector of Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes for a while there. I don't know why. Do I need all of these? Probably not. But they are really good quality. They're also an indie brand. I don't know. Let's go through them, shall we? So the is the Violets, and this is their 6-pan purple eyeshadow palette, monochromatic, and I really, really like this one. This one is so good. I mean, I really like the quality and formulation of all of Juvia's Place palettes for the most part, but I really love purple, so it's not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Then I have the Berries, which is their pink monochromatic eyeshadow palette, and this one's super duper cute as well. I'm also keeping it. Then I have the Nudes, and this is their nude monochromatic palette, and I have never used this. I don't even know if I've swatched it. No, yeah, I have swatched it. I'm not gonna use it. It's way too nude for me. But I know somebody's gonna really love to have this because, again, Juvia's Place is a bomb. So I will be making somebody very happy. And then I have the Chocolates, which is their brown monochromatic palette. And I feel similar about this one as I do the nudes. I just don't think I'm ever really gonna dive into this. It's a really pretty palette though for a neutral look. I really do think I could create something fun with it, but I just don't see myself gravitating towards it. I did get all of those in a bundle, and that's why I probably would never have bought these on their own. But the bundle was very discounted during one of their sales. They have really good sales all the time, by the way. But it was cheaper to buy all of them than buying the ones I wanted individually. So, I mean, why not? Make somebody else happy. Sharing is caring, so I'm going to declutter this. Then I have the Freak palette, and I absolutely love this one. It's going absolutely nowhere. This is such a fun color story, guys. I just think this is so different. We don't see this all the time. Like, it's not monochromatic, thank goodness. I don't know why I have so many monochromatic palettes in my collection. I am as bad as Colourpop, honestly, when it comes to that. But this is not monochromatic. It's very colorful, but it also has neutrals. I really like the mix, and I'm keeping it. But I also have it brand new, which is actually going to go in a future giveaway. My good friend Marilyn here on YouTube, Embolism C, check her out. But she gifted me this palette, and she didn't know that I already had one. But she told me that I could put it in a future giveaway for you guys, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, not decluttering either of them, so you know. Then I have the Nomad palette. This, okay, first of all, the artwork on here, oh, adorable. I honestly love all of Juvia's Place artwork. It's just really pretty. I honestly keep some of their boxes, and I hardly ever keep boxes, guys. But it's just so pretty. I really like the aesthetic that they have. But this is such a cutie in the inside. Oh my goodness. This is my kind of neutral palette. I know that greens aren't considered neutrals to most of you, but to me, these grungy greens are literally, if I'm going to do a neutral look, it's probably going to include a green or a yellow or an orange. Those are neutral colors to me. As long as they're like these fall tones, I think it's more neutral and wearable. However, I think anything's wearable, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but this is beautiful. It's going absolutely nowhere. Then I have the Warrior palette. Now, the Warrior palette is a different story. It's pretty and it's cute, but it's very neutral. I don't know why it's in my collection, actually, but I almost want to keep it because, you know, there are times I want a neutral look. It doesn't happen often, but I don't want to completely get rid of all of my neutral palettes, you know what I mean? I don't know if I need to keep this though, honestly. It's just, I probably have this already, but I'm gonna put it to the maybe pile. And then I have the Nubian 2, one of the first palettes I ever got from Juvia's Place, and I believe it was their second eyeshadow palette ever, probably. I mean, I know the Nubian was their first, so I assume the Nubian 2. This one, in my opinion, is so much more fun than the original Nubian. I have that palette too. But this one, I feel like it's got neutrals, but it's also got color, and I really like this, and I'm gonna keep it. Then I have the Warrior 3, and I know I'm going out of order because I have the Warrior 2 as well, but this one is so me, guys. I honestly, okay, don't hate me, but I might like this one more than the Zulu. I know, crazy concept, because I think these are their two most colorful palettes in this format. I know they started doing the Wahala palettes, and those are pretty colorful, but in my opinion, this one and the Zulu were the most colorful in this format, and I almost want to say that I like this one more. I honestly, I'd have to play with them more to really tell you that, but I really do like this palette, and it's staying. Speaking of the Zulu, here it is in all of its glory. I love this palette. Don't get me wrong, just because I like the other one maybe more does not mean that I don't love this palette. It is so fun, so bright, so colorful, and it's a great formula. they're all great formula. Like, I have not tried a Juvia's Place palette where I felt like some lacked formula. I think they're all pretty solid. So if you're looking for a good, affordable indie brand, this is the one, guys. Totally recommend, but I'm definitely keeping this palette. Then I have the Festival palette. Again, beautiful artwork. I could say that on all of these, but some of these are like my favorites, and this is one of them. I think it's just so, so cute and so pretty and so fun, and I really like it. I don't know. It's something about it I really enjoy. And this palette is so pretty. This mustard yellow, oh my god, I love it so much. And it's still pretty colorful. I really like their colorful palettes, guys. I really do. I mean, I like colorful palettes in general. As long as the formula's good, I'm good with it, right? So this is a good one, and I'm keeping it. Then I have the Warrior 2 palette, and this is more neutral. It is also an all matte palette. So I'm like, don't know, do I need this? Probably not. But I mean, sometimes you want this companion matte palette for certain things you're trying to do. I don't know. I mean, that orange in the middle and that red on the end, so good. And I love the form. I don't know. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile as well. Then I have the Masquerade Mini, and I'm so glad that they turned this one and the Magic one into minis, because we didn't need that giant thing, but this is a perfect size. And again, beautiful artwork. Again, I can say that on all of these. I will tell you my favorite. It's coming up. We have not seen her yet. But anyway, this is so pretty. I absolutely love the mix of neutrals and color. I am not here to rag on neutrals. Like, that is not who I am. I'm not about that life. I love everything. When it comes to eyeshadow, I really can vibe with just about anything. I don't think there's a color that I'm like, oh no, that's not for me. Like, honestly, I love everything. But I really do like when palettes can consist of both color and neutrals, and especially when they can do it nicely. When neutrals and colors can coexist nicely, that's a world I want to live in. And this palette is a palette I want to live in, so I'm gonna keep her. Then we have the Nubian, and as much as I want to keep it purely because it was their very first eyeshadow palette and, you know, nostalgia purposes, I don't need it. It's far too neutral for me, guys. This is not something I'm going to reach into very often, if ever. However, I will say this is probably a really good everyday palette for a lot of people, and I love that they have it. You know, I'm not mad at it. I can appreciate it. Just because it's not my forte doesn't mean it's not yours. You know what I mean? So I'm going to let this get some more love in someone else's collection, because it's not going to get the appreciation it deserves in mine. And then we have the Magic Mini, and when it comes to artwork, this is my favorite palette. I don't know what my favorite Juvia's Place palette is, actually. I actually want to do a video ranking all of my Juvia's Place palettes at some point, and maybe I should do that before I declutter these things. So maybe you'll see these palettes again in a future video, but just know they're not staying in my collection. But this, artwork-wise, gorgeous. 10 out of 10. I think this is so, so pretty. It reminds me that I'm a Gemini because of the two different sides. I really love it. I know it's like sun and moon. Everything about it is gorgeous. And the inside is also super gorgeous, and I love it so, so much. It's going absolutely nowhere. So that rounds it up for my Juvia's Place palettes. How many did I have? I don't know. You tell me. Let's do the math. All right, guys, now I'm going back to BH Cosmetics, and in the first part of this decluttering, I actually already went over BH, but I found one more that I forgot to show. Don't worry, I did add it in the original counting. It just got lost in all the crevices of palettes that were crowding my room, but I did add it in the count. So the count's not off, but the video is a little bit out of order because I'm trying to do it by brand. I also wanted to really quickly pull back 2 palettes because I don't know if I need to keep them. And now that I know I have to get rid of 49 extra palettes, it's making me reconsider some of my decisions in the first one. So the first one that I forgot to mention is the Summer Loving 16 eyeshadow palette. This is okay. This isn't mine. So I haven't used this. I haven't swatched it. It's still in its box and everything. I'm probably putting this in a future giveaway, so I don't really count this as my palette, but it is in the count of palettes I own because I technically own it. This is mine. It's just not something I'm going to be using. So I did want to like just go over that. So I am going to count this as being decluttered. I'm also going to count this Juvia's Place one because technically they will no longer be in my collection very soon, hopefully. And yeah, so I am counting them, so you know. Then I wanted to go over the Shan XO palette because originally I kept it, and I mean, even when I was editing it, I was like, I kept this purely because of the format being cool. That's a dumb reason to keep something, Raven. I don't love the color story. It's not revolutionary, and it's not something I need in my collection. I just like how it's like flippy. Like you get this one, and then you get this one. I think that's so fun. I don't know. I really do like that format, but you shouldn't keep a palette just for a format. And I don't know what I was thinking there. I am decluttering this one. Now, this one took me some time to think about. This is the Sylvia Gani BH Cosmetics palette, and when I originally went through this palette, I mentioned how gorgeous this color story is. And I still stand by that. This is a beautiful jewel toned palette. I think it's very pretty, but it is quite large. And I've said this many a times, I'm not huge into big eyeshadow palettes anymore. It's just not the preference I am after. I much more prefer a small curated palette. So I really don't think I'm going to use this as much as I would like to, just because of how big it is, and I don't need it, guys. I really don't, and I really need to get rid of 49 palettes, and if I'm gonna make that work, things that I don't use often need to be let go of. Unfortunately, this is gonna be one of those things that was kind of hard for me to let go of because it is gorgeous, and I love it. But somebody else will find a lot more love than I will be able to. Alright guys, the time has come to tackle my Profusion collection, and it's a lot. It's a lot, so let's get through it. The first ones I want to go through are 3 that I know I'm decluttering, and I do have a video with all 3 of these actually. So check that out if you want to. I turned myself into Krusty the Clown. It was pretty fun, it was a good time, but they just didn't perform as well as I'm used to from Profusion. So the first one is the Here Lies Fangs palette. And these are all from their Halloween collection from 2020. I thought the coffin packaging was super duper cute, and I thought the color stories, though they weren't the most exciting color stories, I did think that they were pretty enough, and I believe they were $7. So I wasn't breaking my bank to get these, but at the same time, I've tried better things from Profusion. So I'm gonna let this one go. And then I have the Here Lies Jester palette, which is the colorful one. And I think this one was like probably my least favorite just because it wasn't very powerful. And this is an all matte palette. I wasn't aware of when I bought this that it was. I have way better formulated colorful eyeshadows in my collection. This is just never going to get used. It's not that these palettes are bad. Like, don't get it twisted. They just aren't that great. And even when it comes to Profusion, I have such better palettes from them. So I'm like, I don't need these, but somebody will probably find some love. This is the Here Lies Hellcat one, and I thought this one was actually the most exciting of the 3. I think the color story, even though it is pretty neutral, it's pretty cute. And if it would have performed like their typical 10-pan palettes, I would have loved this, but it just didn't. So I'm gonna let go of all 3 of these. Now let's tackle their 10-pan eyeshadow palettes because as you can see, I have a ton of them. Okay, so how many do I have? I actually have 8 of their 10-pan eyeshadow palettes, and I love them all. So I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of any of them, but we can go through them anyway. The first one I have here is the Neons palette. And here, let me tell you something about this. I really do enjoy their quality formula on these 10-pan eyeshadow palettes. Really good. I don't know what happened with the coffin ones, but these are really good. You can also find these at your local Walmart for $5. $5. That is it. That is it for 10 eyeshadows. And they're actually really good formula. I am shook to the core, if I'm being honest. This is the Violets one. I'm going to keep this one as well. I really do like this. I have used all of these palettes, and I am shocked by how good they are. I'm honestly shocked because I don't know how they can afford to sell them for so cheap. But if you're looking for a good, affordable eyeshadow palette, I recommend any of these. And especially the emeralds. And now, do I say especially because it's green? Of course I do, because I love green eyeshadow. So this one, I highly hype up. And also, it was really hard to get because every time I'd go to Walmart, this is the one that was sold out consistently. But I finally did get it, and it was the last one they had, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection for $5, guys. I just can't get over that $5 mark. But this is the Rubies, and I'm going to keep this one too. I actually think I'm going to keep all of these, but they are just so good. And for that price, I mean, it's insane. I honestly can't recommend them enough. People are always asking me, like, is there any good drugstore makeup? Like, I don't know. And I'm like, yes, Profusion, e.l.f., Milani, but like Profusion. I mean, because even with the Milani's not the most affordable. It's drugstore, but it's still, you know, like $16 an eyeshadow palette, something like that. I think some of them are $20, but this is $5. It's insane. I actually did not expect much at all when I tried these because, I mean, it's $5 for 10 eyeshadows. You don't see that very often, and when you do, it's usually not very good. This is the Spectrum, by the way. I didn't expect much at all when I first tried them, but I mean, I am pleasantly surprised, and I have pretty much all of their 10-pan eyeshadow palettes. I don't have, like, the purely neutral ones, but all the ones that spike my interest, I have. And this is the Sapphires. Pretty cute blue palette. If I'm going to be honest, this might be the one that I would let go of all of them just because I have blue palettes that I prefer over this. Blue is a color that's hard to formulate. I know that. And it's not even that this palette performs badly. I still think this is really good for $5, but it is probably the most lackluster of my bunch. I'm going to put it to the maybe pile. The citrines is going absolutely nowhere because the yellows, they formulated perfectly. This is beautiful. This is a neutral palette for me. Again, I love yellows, and this is just so pretty, and I love it, and I'm keeping it. All right, you'd think I'm done with Profusion, but I'm not. I have the Ultra Warm palette, and I've had this for a long time, like a few years now. I don't know why I have this. I don't need it. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. So next is another big eyeshadow palette. This is the Sun-Kissed palette. I don't know why Raven bought this. Actually, I do know. It was a Labor Day sale they were having, and it was like so affordable because these palettes are already like $10 or something, really affordable. And then it was like $7 on sale, and I was like, I have to have all of them. I didn't have to have them all, Raven. You need to learn how to be good about these things. This also contains 3 pressed glitters, so I really didn't need to have this. And I don't think I ever even, I used this like once, but I don't need it, and I'm gonna let it go. Then I have the Wanderlust palette, and here is the deal about this palette. I only swatched this. I've never actually used this, and I don't think I'm ever going to, and I would say this is a regret, but actually, okay, so this palette came with a brush, and the brush is amazing. I use it all the time. It is very rare for a palette that comes with a brush for the brush to actually be good. I mean, I have an Urban Decay brush that I don't like as much as I like this brush, and it came in a $10 palette. What? But no, I really love the Profusion brushes. I need to get more, but I use the brush that came in this palette all the time. So I'm not mad. Honestly, just for the brush alone, it was worth the like $5 I spent for this, so I'm not mad at all. And I know somebody will get a lot of love out of this because it is really cute, so I'm gonna let it go. But you can pry that brush from my cold dead hands because that's not going nowhere. And the last palette I have from Profusion is the Festival palette. This palette, again, it's huge. I didn't need it. I really didn't. I haven't actually ever opened this. I saw some reviews and it sounded really good, and it probably is because Profusion's formula is really good. Except I just didn't need it. It's big. I have the 10-pan palettes from them that I absolutely love, and I feel like I get everything that I get in here with those. And so I'm just going to pass this to someone. I've never even swatched this palette. It's brand new, and I know somebody will love this because the formula is so good, guys. But if you haven't tried Profusion, you definitely need to go ahead and do that because it's amazing, okay? It really is. So I know we went over Colourpop already in the last video, but I did get my Colourpop Animal Crossing collab, and that's actually what I'm wearing today, a mixture of all of the palettes. And so we'll go through them really quickly because they're adorable. I mean, by the time you're seeing this video, you probably have already seen that video, and if not, I'll definitely link it because I plan on that one going up before this one. So this is the 5-Star Island palette, and it is really cute. I mean, okay, my real honest impressions are in that video, so if you want to know how I feel about it, go watch that video. But I will say packaging is 10 out of 10. Adorable. I mean, that's all I can tell you for now because I need you to watch that video for me because, you know, help your sister out, you know? So this is the What a Hoot palette, which is the neutral one. Super duper cute. And we have the Nook Ink palette. That's the mint one. And I'm keeping all of them. Is that a surprise to any of you? Probably not. I love Animal Crossing so, so much. I bought these solely because of the packaging, so obviously not going to get rid of these. Now let's knock out the one and only neutral palette I think I ever need to buy in my entire life, and I will be 100% set. This is the Nabla Side by Side Nude palette. Oh my God. The love for this palette I have is unbelievable. Considering it is a neutral palette, guys. It's shocking to me, and it's probably shocking to you, but this is so good. If I'm ever looking for a neutral palette, this is the one I'm gonna probably pull into. So that's why I don't know if I need to keep any other ones, because this one really does it for me. And I want to create some wedding looks with this. I actually feel like, as of right now at least, this will be the palette I wear on my wedding day. I am now engaged, of course, we know that, but I don't plan on having my wedding for quite a while. I want to really plan it out and make sure it's, you know, exactly what I want. Also, I want the world to be in a better shape, so obviously I have some time to create some wedding inspo looks, and I want to do that on my channel. And I really feel like, as of right now at least, this is the palette that's going to be what I wear on my wedding day. So I'm obviously keeping it. Then I have my only Spoiled Lip Cosmetics palette, and my dear friend Marilyn here on YouTube, Embolism C, gifted me this palette, and it is divine. I don't know what the name of this is. It says Volume 1S. Maybe that's what it's called. I'm not really sure. But it is such a pretty, colorful palette, and I love this, and I'm definitely keeping it. Next, I have this Pure palette that's still in its box because I actually have never used this. I swatched it, unfortunately, which I hadn't have. I found it at Ross for $9, so I thought it would be really fun. But the problem with this palette is, okay, well, first of all, this is the color story, right? Very, very boring, very neutral. I mean, okay, if this is your color story, again, happy for you. But for me, it's not. So, to me, it's boring. So, anyway, but the reason I bought this is because I couldn't see it in store. Obviously, it was sealed up, and the back of it, all I could see was this. And if you look at this, I feel like these colors look far more saturated than what the actual palette looks like inside. I'm not sure if you can really see that, but the palette definitely does not match the box, and I was highly disappointed. So I am going to declutter this. I wish I hadn't swatched it. I don't know why I did. Even when I opened it, I was like, this was a regret purchase. I probably could have taken it back if I hadn't swatched it. I also don't really like doing that though, because I'm pretty sure they just discard it, even if it's not swatched. But I could have gifted it to someone. Now I'm just going to give it to someone. You know, regardless, somebody else is going to get some love out of this, and it's not going to be me. Now I have something nostalgic to me. Goodness gracious, I feel like if you watched my last video, then you see the occurring trend here too. I have a nostalgia problem. My makeup is like my everything, so I have a lot of memories surrounding it. And sometimes to the point where it's hard for me to let go of things, especially this Too Faced kit. Now, this is one of their holiday vaults, and I mean, we all know how the holiday vaults from Too Faced go. Don't we by now? They're not usually very good. I don't personally like Too Faced's formula of their normal products, but especially their holiday releases, they just don't meet the mark, and I think it's because they know they're limited edition and they don't really have to make them all that good, which is terrible for them to do that to us. So I don't support Too Faced for many different reasons. I mean, did you guys see the Rich Lives Matter cake? We're not getting into it. I'm not a drama channel, and I don't ever intend to be one. But I don't support Too Faced for ethical reasons. I know other YouTubers have really deep dove into it. Smoky Glow, for example, I believe has a video on it, and if you want to know more about it, go check that out. But I'm not the channel to get into that, because I like my platform to be very peaceful and uplifting. Not that drama channels are bad. I'm not dissing drama channels. It's good to get that information out, but this isn't the place for it. You know what I mean? So I have the I Believe in Pink palette. None of these are all that great, but I did get some use out of them because when I got them, I really loved them. I think it was 2017. Too Faced was one of Raven's favorite brands. I know. Who have I become? I'm a totally different person now that I know all the back skirts of everything, and I'm glad I've been informed. I really am, because a lot of things have changed. This is the palette that even now I'm like, why did I like it then? Like, I don't know. Raven never was into neutrals, and all three of these palettes are highly neutral. I don't know why I really wanted this. I think it was just because of the naming, if I'm being honest. It was Too Faced, it was cute, packaging was adorable, but here's where the nostalgia comes into play. I didn't purchase these. This is the Natural Beauty. I was gifted these on Christmas, and again, boring. I was gifted these on Christmas by my lovely mother, who has since passed. So obviously I hold these palettes very close to my heart almost, because I mean, it was a gift from my mom. Like, my mom's not here to gift me makeup anymore. Like, Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. No, we're not. This is a super fun night, and let me tell you, it's just not a super fun night in here. This is a very boring night, in my opinion. This is a stay home, you know, do your homework kind of night. I don't know what I'm saying. But no, my mom's not here to gift me makeup anymore. So I mean, the things that she did gift me, I do hold really close to my heart, and I don't want to let go of, because it was a moment, you know? It's a memory. When I got this, like, she asked me, what is the one makeup thing you really want this year? And this was it. And I regret this being it, of course. I wish I had a better taste back then. But this was it. And she used her hard-earned money to buy it for me, and we did not grow up with much money at all. I mean, back when I got this as my Christmas gift, we did not have very much money at all. I mean, throughout my entire life, we had struggled. We definitely, I mean, she was a single mom to 3 kids. It's tough, guys. If you know, you know. So her being able to buy this for me was a big deal. I think it was like $50, and that was a lot of money. I mean, it still is now, but it was just a big deal, and like, it made her heart so happy to be able to do that for me, and it was so, like, I was really happy. Obviously, I was really into this at the time. I used it like every single day. It got its love, for sure it did. It's just not something I ever will reach for now, but just because I don't want to use it doesn't mean I don't want the memory. And I don't know, I know some of you are going to be like, well, you can like get rid of it without like losing the memory. And the thing is, I have a terrible memory. And if I'm not constantly reminded of it by looking at it, I might forget. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to forget the memories I have with my mom. Like, obviously not. But at the same time, it is nice to, like, I'm thinking about maybe just keeping the packaging, because I don't know, should I keep the palettes? I know I don't need them. Like, that's the problem. Like, as much as they are nostalgic to me, and like I hold them highly in my heart. Like, I really do. Not because of the formula, not because of the brand, but solely because my mom bought these for me. Like, it's a big deal. I mean, honestly, if you've watched any of my videos, I rant and rave about my mom all the time. She was my best friend. She was my queen. She was everything to me. I mean, we did everything together. I love that woman with all of my heart. I am who I am because of her. So, like, of course, anything she gives me, I'm going to have a hard time letting go of. Which is hard, because my mom did get me a lot of things throughout my life. Like, she was always doing for her children rather than herself. Like, she really was such a selfless person. And I owe everything to her. I wish I could repay it to her, but I can't. So, really, I do have a hard time letting things go that she gave me. But I know I don't need them. Bottom line is, I know I'm never going to use these, and I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I should just keep the package and not the palettes. I really do think I might be sad, and is it worth it? You know, it's 3 palettes. I mean, you can tell me I'm hoarding if that's what makes you feel better, but I feel like I can keep them because it's important to me. You can call me crazy. You can tell me I'm a hoarder. You can tell me all these things that I'm sure I deep down know. But I think I'm going to keep them. For now, at least, you know? For now. Don't love Too Faced, but I adore my mother. So, staying. Wow, that got emotional. I don't want my videos to ever be, like, emotional. I talk about touchy subjects and, like, emotional things, but, like, I don't ever want to get, like, emotional on my channel. Because I never want this to be, like, a negative, like, vibe that you're feeling from me. So when I'm feeling sad, I feel like you can feel that and pick up on it. And I never want that to be, like, a thing on my channel. So let's clean the slate. And now let's talk about a brand I do love. Pinky Rose Cosmetics. This is an indie brand, and I found them last year. This is the Runway palette. And again, listen. You're like, well, Raven, I thought you said you didn't like big palettes, and I don't. Honestly, I would love this to be more curated, if I'm being honest, but it is a gorgeous, perfect fall palette. Tell me this doesn't scream fall to you. Tell me. I love it so much just for that, because I love autumn tones. It's beautiful all year round, but also I want to play with this more in fall, so I'm going to keep it. Now, as much as I love Pinky Rose Cosmetics, I do have 2 of their all pressed glitter palette. I don't know why I need this, because I hardly ever play with pressed glitters. I say that while I have one on my eye right now. But I only did that because it was part of the collaboration with Colourpop, and I did a video surrounding that, and I kind of felt inclined to. But these, listen, so I like this concept though, because this is just pressed glitters. And honestly, seriously, can somebody tell this to Colourpop? They can do a palette with just pressed glitters. So that way people don't have to buy their eyeshadow palettes with pressed glitters in them if they don't want them. I don't know why Colourpop has a hard time understanding that because, I mean, brands have done it before. Nabla's done it, I know that. Pinky Rose really went out and did a huge palette. I don't think you need all this. Only reason I bought these two, if I'm being honest, is because I had, at this point, I don't think I had like really any pressed glitters, maybe a couple in my collection, but I didn't know I didn't really like them at the point of buying these, and both of these were in a bundle for guess how much dollars? Guess, just guess. $10 for both. And I believe these retail for like $30-something each, usually. It was an insane deal. And I mean, my little makeup hungry mind was like, $10? All of this glitter? Oh, yes! So I bought them, and I mean, did I need them? That's the thing. So you saw the colorful one. That was Hypnotize. Are these both Hypnotize? I feel like they're just both called Hypnotize, but this is the neutral one. And this one I more so really don't need. I mean, I don't need either of these if I'm being honest. However, if I ever want to press glitter, I feel like every single color I would ever need is in these two palettes, and I would never have to buy a pressed glitter ever again. However, I don't really ever go out of my way to buy pressed glitters, so like, is that a justifiable reason to keep them? I don't know, you tell me. I'm going to put this one in the maybe pile because I really just don't know. I also feel like these are really repetitive. If I'm being honest, a lot of the colors in here, so similar. But I am going to put this in the maybe pile because I don't know if I need this one. I'm going to keep the colorful one though, because if I ever do need a colorful glitter, these are really pretty. Like, let's be honest, they are really pretty. I don't use them very often. They're not my preferred preference, but they are really pretty, and you never know when you might need one, right? So I'm going to keep this one, and I'm going to put this one to the maybe pile. Then I have this You Can Be Splashy Candies palette. This is actually very interesting. I got this on Amazon for like $12. Actually, let me rephrase that. My sister got me this on Amazon for like $12 because I did her hair, and I was like, all I want in return is this palette. I have a problem. The packaging is really cute in my opinion. I really like this, but it is very big. It's kind of interesting. Like, okay, so they cut it up into little monochromatic palettes inside of a big palette, you know? So it kind of gives you that Colourpop vibe with like, you know, the Honey, Just My Luck, Blue Moon, It's My Pleasure, or I Like You a Lot, and then you have the red one with Strawberry Shake or Watermelon something, and then we have the orange one, which is like Miss Bliss or Orangey Glad. I mean, I know like all of the Colourpop stuff. It's a problem. Like, that's how often I look at Colourpop and need to stop. But this was kind of cute. And these all do contain one pressed glitter, which, you know, Colourpop is notorious for. So I really do think this was a dupe for Colourpop, but in one big palette. Again, I don't like big palettes. I don't know why I needed this. Actually, the reason I wanted this is because I wanted to see if it was comparable formula. I like Colourpop better, but for $12 for all of this versus $12 for each one individually, this might be a better deal. This is not bad formula. I'm shocked at how well this applies. It's not bad. I'm not going to keep it because I just have so much in my collection. I don't need this, but I do think somebody will get some love out of this. Then I have my only Tarte palette. This is the Tartiest Pro palette, and this is a story and a half. My best friend actually gave me this because she owed me money, and she was like, can I just give you this palette instead? And I was like, sure, why not? And I wish I had the money. If I'm being honest, this is just not very good. I don't really like Tarte's formula, and I know a lot of people loved this palette, but even she told me she had a hard time getting this to work for her, and I had a hard time working with this, and I just, it's not it for me, guys. I'm decluttering it regardless. Now, let's tackle the deadly deed. We all knew it was coming. We all knew, or at least I did. Morphe. I've explained my feelings about Morphe a couple times on my channel at this point, and they're not good. I do not agree with them ethically. I don't support them anymore. However, Raven was a stan for Morphe at one point in time, and I own a lot of their palettes. So, shall we go through them? I really, where's the one? Where's that big one? Hold on. I don't even have them all out yet. So let's get rid of the ones that are easy to get rid of first. This is the 39 Hit the Lights. Dude, this thing is bigger than my head, and I have a very big head. So if something's bigger than my head, like I could wear this as a hat. No, I could wear this as a shirt. This thing is like bigger than my freaking torso. This thing is huge. Like nobody needs this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you're thinking about it, first of all, I don't think this is even available on their website anymore. I don't really know. I don't keep up with Morphe anymore. But like I said, I used to. And when this palette released, I was like, oh boy, I need it, I need it, I need it. Nobody needs this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Nobody. Okay, maybe this is your only palette that you own. Even then, like, you don't need this. But but I can't. This is, okay. Even when I would defend Morphe with all of my heart, this palette made no sense to me. I could not figure it out. There is no cohesion here. Like, you look at it and you're like, what's going on? Like, you have some neons over here, but like, why? Because all of it's neutral. And then you have like some of like the same exact freaking red, like the same red like 3 times. I know Morphe is notorious for putting in the same shades in the same exact palette, but I mean, in a row, like, make it obvious, why don't you? And then you have some like a random pressed glitter. You have random giant pans of shimmer for Lord knows why. I could brag on this palette all day. Honestly, I kind of almost want to keep it just to make fun of, but I don't need it because it's huge and it takes up so much space. And hopefully someone will get use out of this. I will not. No. This is insanely easy to let go of. I used the neons a few times and that's about as far as this palette went. So now it's going to leave, okay? Bye-bye. Next we have the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette, and I honestly don't even like holding this in my hand. It makes me feel gross. I don't support Jeffree Star either. And again, I don't like to be a drama channel, but I will say I don't support either of them, and this is the only Jeffree Star palette I have ever owned. I don't think this is his formula. So I really can't even tell you if his formula is good. I never really kept up with Jeffree. Like, let's be honest. I just didn't. I know a lot of people did, but I really didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because apparently he turned out to be a, I don't like to use the words that I want to use for him on my channel, so I used this once. I literally had it in my possession, used it one time, the look was okay, and I even remember thinking like, this is mediocre, but then all of the controversy around him like came spiraling at me, and I know that it had been a thing before this palette was released, but like at that point in time I had not again kept up with him, so I didn't know. I was not into the beauty community nearly as much as I am now. I really just did my makeup off camera and in my own home. I didn't even really keep up with other beauty brands besides the ones that I knew about, and I barely kept up with them on an ethical like standpoint. I just like bought their products and knew what their products performed like. I never really like looked into like their ethics, and I'm really glad that I do my research now. I'm really glad. I know I probably have a lot more research to do, but I know a lot more now than I definitely did then. And I'm very happy to say that I think I'm doing better, and I'm supporting brands now that I think actually deserve my money rather than whatever this is. So I'm gonna declutter this, of course. Then I have the 35OS palette. This is a shimmer heavy palette. Are they all shimmers? Actually, I've used this one time. When I got this, yeah, I think they're all shimmers. When I bought this, I was only doing matte looks, so I don't know why I ever needed this because it's an all shimmer palette. And I think the only reason I bought it was because it was on a really good sale. And I was like, oh, I love Morphe. Give it to me. I'll get into shimmer. Sure, why not? I didn't. I used this orange one time, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. But in my defense, like, what is this? This is a mistake. I don't know why they made this. They didn't need to. Nobody needs this. I'm getting rid of it. And then I have the 35K palette. I don't know. What does K stand for? Because this is like a smoky eye palette. Cool toned, but like cool toned would start with a C. I don't really know where they got I'm kind of curious about that now. Anybody know why it's called the 35K? Anyway, I'm not keeping it. I don't need this. All right, so we got through the ones that were easy for me to get rid of. Now, I will be honest, these next 3 are going to tug at my heartstrings just a tad bit. So, the 35M Boss Mood palette. I got this as a gift, and it was an interesting gift. I rag on Morphe a lot, but if I'm being honest, this is probably one of their better color stories. If not their best, because I actually do really like the color story in here. Again, could have been curated down a lot, and I'll say that about every single palette of theirs. I truly believe that every single one of their palettes can be curated down a lot, but the color story is really cute. It's very fall, it's very grungy. I love the greens and the purples. Ugh, it's cute. It's cute, it is, but I know I have these shades and formulas I prefer, and also I don't support Morphe, so why would I keep this palette, right? I'm getting rid of it. I don't need it. I do know somebody's gonna love this, though. I'm gonna be honest right now. If you don't have a problem with Morphe, this is a palette that I probably would recommend from them, but like, I don't recommend anything from them, because like, indie brands, guys, if you're looking at these palettes and you're like, I like Morphe, I mean, that's to each their own for sure. But indie brands are killing it, and I mean, they need the money more. They really do, and they appreciate you more. They really do. So yeah, I don't need this. I'm going to probably look for a similar color story though from an indie brand, because I do like those purples and greens and oranges together. Super pretty, but don't need this palette. And then I have the 35P palette, and P stands for plums or purples, if you didn't know. At least I think so, because this is an all purple palette. I really like this. I got so much use out of this. I mean, I loved this palette. When I was a Morphe stan, this was like always on my eyes. This and the next palette I'm about to talk about, that one's gonna be the hardest one. I'm gonna tell you some stories about it. But this one was really good. I have so many memories with it. Again, nostalgia. That's really what I'm learning is the hardest part about letting these things go. It's not even that I love the palette or that I miss the makeup in the palette or that I like the shadows or that I'm gonna use the shadows ever. It's the nostalgia behind the palettes, and I need to get better about that, and this is why I'm letting this one go. But it did get me through so much. I mean, I put this on my face like every single day, especially when I was like having really hard days. I would just put the purple on my like entire lid. It looked like I had black eyes. It was great. Somebody actually asked me at my work one time if my boyfriend was abusing me because I had black and blue eyes because of this palette. It was a dream. I loved it. I liked looking dead. It's not because I was bad at makeup, although I probably was at that time. No, I actually enjoyed looking dead, and this palette did it for me. I mean, there's some really cool tone purples in here that can make you look like you're a corpse, and I loved it. But yeah, it's done. Okay, the time has come for it to leave, and goodbye. Okay, we've had some good times. It's not you that I hate. It's Morphe, not you. Okay, somebody will love you. I promise. Somebody will love you. It's honestly like leaving an abusive relationship. I mean, it's hard for me to let go of these things, especially the 35B. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I had so much fun with you. You were my baby for so long. Okay, you were what got me into color. This is what's so hard about it, because this palette, guys. This was actually my friend Amber's. If you're wondering who hit pan on these two shadows, that was her, not me. However, I definitely made those pans a lot bigger. I mean, I almost went through this entire shot. It's good times. I used this solely for so many months. I think 2 years almost. I only used this palette. It was the only thing I used. It was so, my heart. This is hurting. It really is. But this was my friend Amber's, and she gave it to me because, I mean, I was basically hogging this from her. I would go over to her house like every single day. This is before I lived with her. I don't live with her now, but we did live together for like 6 months. But anyway, regardless, that's another story for another day. But I would like come over every single day. Okay, obviously I would come over to hang out with her, but like I would use this palette every day. And like at one point she was just like, Raven, I owe you some money. You want to just exchange for this palette? That's an ongoing trend you'll see. I have a lot of her palettes, and she'll probably be happy to get these back if I'm being honest. But yeah, so she was like, do you just want this palette, Raven? And I was like, yes. You're gonna give it to me? Really? Or sure? And she was like, yeah, just take it. You use it more than I do anyway. And I'm like, okay. So this palette, man. Also, can we talk about funny story? And the reason I knew the funny story, because, okay, the new Lisa Frank collab with Morphe, it's a scam. Just so you know, it's this palette, but with a new cover on it. Just some food for thought, because, yeah, it's literally this palette. And it even says it. I saw it at Ulta the other day. It's not a new palette. If you think you're getting something new, you're not. They just had a whole bunch of these 35Bs laying around, I guess, and thought, oh, let's slap a Lisa Frank cover on it and call it a day. And they made a lot of money by doing that. I hate that because it's no creativity. And they didn't even disclose that very well. I feel like they did not like really let you know that this was an old palette being revamped or anything. They just kind of did it. I don't support Morphe for a handful of reasons, but that's one of them, and I thought that was super shady. Also, I don't need this because I have colorful palettes in my collection that are so much better in formula. I mean, indie brands are killing it. Again, can't get enough of indie brands, and you'll see some here in a minute. But yeah, this is a hard one to say goodbye to, but I have to say goodbye. I'm not going to use it. It's just going to be here for nostalgia purposes, and I have to stop doing that. I've done it enough throughout these 2 videos, and if I'm going to get anywhere with this decluttering, it's gotta go. I'll miss you. I probably won't ever think about you, but when I do, I'll miss you. When I look back at my looks that weren't very good, I'll think of you, and I'll be like, yeah, that was the 35B palette and my not so good blending skills, you know? Let's keep going though, because I still have an entire drawer to get through, and I'm tired, and I'm getting hungry. So, my friend Joey created an indie brand. I'm friends with her on Facebook. I haven't actually had the honor to meet her in real life. I was supposed to be in one of her movies, but then the pandemic took over the world, and I just can't go to Georgia willy-nilly, and I'm also trying to stay away from people. So, hopefully, maybe one day that'll happen, but for now, it's not in the works. But anyway, Joey created an indie brand called Gorgul FX. But recently they've rebranded and now they are Creature Cosmetic Labs. And this is their Monster Blood eyeshadow palette. This is the first palette they ever came out with. Joey did such a good job on this. Look how cute this color story is. This came out right around Halloween 2020 and I had to pick it up to support her, of course, but also because this color story is absolutely adorable. There are 2 pressed glitters in this palette, which aren't my favorite, but again, I wanted to support her, so I bought it anyway. But if you guys don't know about Creature Cosmetic Labs, please check them out because, again, they're an indie brand and she's amazing. She's also a makeup artist and she does beautiful looks on herself. I highly recommend checking them out. So yeah, obviously this isn't going anywhere. Then I have a few palettes from C Color Cosmetics. I have the Fairy Tale eyeshadow palette that I actually did a look with on my channel. And yeah, I mean, I did this look before I realized that C Color was copying Manny MUA, and I love Manny. He's an indie brand, Lunar Beauty, and I don't appreciate the fact that brands are trying to copy indie brands. That's not cool. We don't like that. You can dupe out high-end brands, but when it comes to indie brands, they don't need that. That's not fair to them. They put a lot of work into their stuff, and for a brand like C Color to just steal it from them and price it a lot cheaper because they're able to manufacture a lot more than an indie brand is, that's not fair to them, and I really don't like to see it. So I'm going to declutter all of my C Color palettes. They performed fine, and for the price, I got this for $4.99 at my Bell's Outlet. So for the price, I was actually really shocked, and it was good. I was actually really happy when I used these. This is the Fairy Tale 2 palette from C Color. I was genuinely very impressed by these for the price point. It's really, really good. So I kind of really hate that they're copying indie brands, especially now because I was talking highly about them and now I have to retract that statement solely because I can't support a company who's going to do that. But the formula really is pretty good, especially for that price point. But this is the Sundown palette, but I don't need them. And because of how they're treating indie brands, I'm going to let them all go. Next, I have some eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to declutter just because the formula really isn't my preference. This is the LA Colors Plums palette. I haven't tried this actual palette because it's brand new and I don't want to open it because I didn't really like the ones that I have tried. It's just okay formula. It's not like the worst thing ever, but it's very subtle and not as impactful as I need it to be. And because I have things I prefer more in my collection that aren't as subtle, I'm going to let these ones go. So this one is the Everyday Nude palette, and this is what this one looks like. I have used this one, and again, it was okay. It just wasn't anything great. So I'm gonna let this one go. This one is the Smoky palette. I haven't used this one, but again, I don't really plan on doing so. I haven't even swatched this one, so I am definitely gonna let this one go as well. And also the pink one. I haven't tried this one either, but I'm not going to. So I'm just gonna let all of them go and hopefully find a home that likes them more. Alright guys, now let's tackle one of my favorite indie brands and brands in general, Glam Light. I love Glam Light so much. I'm not getting rid of any of these, spoiler alert, but I will go through them with you. I have the Paint palette, and it's still in its box. I have used this palette, of course, but I keep the boxes on all of these because they're just such cute boxes. I love how this opens up like a little book. And then you have a brush on one side. I haven't used this brush yet, but I probably should. It is kind of big, I'll be honest, but when it's something this cute, I don't really mind. I absolutely love how there's even a little thumb hole. This is so freaking cute. I love this so much, and it's obviously not going anywhere, but like this is how it opens. Look how pretty this is too. This is the most beautiful rainbow palette I think I own. Maybe the Cake palette, but that's also a Glam Light palette. Glam Light is great with color, great with formula, great with everything, and I love them so much. So keeping. Then I have the Glam Donut, and I also really like this one. It's more of like a pastel bright situation, super duper cute, and I'm keeping it. Then I have the Taco palette, and this is so cute. It looks like an actual taco. I just want to, I'm really hungry right now too actually, so I want this taco to be real. I really wish. That is one thing about Glam Light. I can't look at their products without getting hungry, and I was already hungry before this, so like, I need a snack, okay? I hope you guys grabbed your snack because I'm sure you need it. It's a long video. I feel like I've been here for hours. I probably have. Anyways, this palette is absolutely beautiful. I love the grungy tones in here. It's going absolutely nowhere. Then I have the Pizza palette, and I believe this is Glam Light's first ever palette. It's not the first palette I ever got from Glam Light. The Paint palette was, but it was, I think, their first palette, and it is so cute. Again, it's a very big palette, but when it's a pizza, I'm okay with that. I will say I think Glam Light's formula has gotten better since the Pizza palette, but I do like this palette nonetheless, and I am going to keep it. I literally have a drawer in my room dedicated to Glam Light, by the way. That's how much I love their products. And next is the Burger palette. I still have the super cute little packaging because it looks like one of those like fast food burgers that you get. So cute. I just love their packaging so much. They pay so much attention to detail. It makes my heart happy. This thing is like squishy. It's so cute. I love this so much. Oh my god, now I want a burger. I just want food, guys. I'm really hungry. This is what the Burger palette looks like. Oh, it's so cute. I love it so much. I know not everybody's a huge fan of the food theme, but I am. I'm so here for it. Like, I really am. And I think it's absolutely adorable. And then I have the Cake palette, which this could be my favorite rainbow palette. I'm not really sure. It's tied between this one and the Paint palette, but overall, Glam Light has my favorite rainbow palettes. So this little cutie looks like this, and she is absolutely gorgeous. The pigment on these palettes, guys, it's insane. If you haven't tried Glam Light, that is one of the brands that I definitely recommend to you. I know I'm recommending a lot of brands to you guys today, and I really do love everything that I have said that about. But Glam Light is like top 5 brands you need to know about kind of status right there. So definitely check them out if you haven't already. And my last palette I have from them is arguably my favorite palette from them, and arguably one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. That is the Ice Cream Dream palette. This palette holds a special place in my heart. Not only is it adorable, and the sprinkles do move if you're wondering, because they do. And I could play with it all day. I say it every time I feature this palette. And this palette is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, oh my gosh. But this was also the first palette I ever used on my channel. My very first video here was with this palette, and I love it so much still. To this day, it is one of the prettiest things I own, and I'm so happy I have it. It's obviously not going anywhere, and I'm so glad it's in my collection. Then I have some palettes from Storybook Cosmetics, and this is the Burn Book palette, which is the Mean Girls inspired eyeshadow palette, and it's super duper cute. It's thick like a book, which I wouldn't usually like, but because it's kind of their aesthetic, I'm okay with it. And I use it for display purposes, and it is really fun. I'll give it that. I do like the color story on this. It's not my favorite palette I've ever used. The formulas, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not great. It's good. I wouldn't pay the $45 retail price I believe this cost, or is it $55? It's something ridiculous, and I wouldn't pay it. I paid $10 because they were having an amazing deal, and I got all of these palettes I'm about to talk about for super cheap. So if you can snag it at $10, I recommend it. If not, you could probably pass. But that's just my opinion on that. I am going to keep it though. I'm also going to keep the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory one because that's just so cute. Me and my brother grew up on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We used to watch it all the time, so it reminds me of him, and I absolutely love it. Super duper cute, and this is what the inside looks like, and I love the color story. Again, the formula is not my all-time favorite, but it's not bad, and I did get this palette for $10, so I'm not mad about it. I'm gonna keep it. I do, however, think I'm gonna let go of the Little Briar Rose. I'm not familiar with the story. I didn't know. Apparently it's like a classic. I didn't know about it though. So don't come for me if it's your favorite fairy tale or something, but I didn't really know about it. And I just wanted it because I thought if the formula was like really good, I would really love this because the color story is really cute. However, again, the formula on these aren't like my favorite, but it's good. It's just not great. And I don't know the story. So I really use the other two as a display because I love those, like, you know, themes. But this doesn't really get to me that way, so I can let this one go. Then I have my only Viseart palette. This is the Viseart Neutral Matte Eyeshadow Palette. I think that's just all it's called. I don't love the packaging on this. For $80, I don't think it's worth it. I did not spend $80 on this palette, don't you worry. Boxy add-on had your girl, and she got it for $12. So for $12, I'm not mad. It makes a really good companion palette. These mattes are really good, but for $80, I don't think it's that good. No. I just don't think you need anything that's $80. I feel like this would be more reasonable at like $40. It's a really good formula, don't get me wrong, but the packaging should be a lot more if you're going to spend $80 on this. I just think you should get more for $80, but for $12, I'm so happy to have it. Then I have my Melt Gemini palette. I absolutely adore this thing so much. I'm really hoping that Melt comes out with something super extravagant this year so I can purchase something else because I'm obsessed with this palette. It performs so nicely. The color story is everything to me. The formula on this is so amazing. I do have a video with this on my channel already, and I'm pretty sure by the time you're seeing this, I'll probably have two because I am doing a collaboration with this palette, so check that out. But yeah, I really love this one, and I'm definitely keeping it. Then I have the Spanglish palette from Alamar Cosmetics. I love this palette so much. I can't wait to try more from Alamar. This is such a good palette. I actually went back and purchased not one, but two for friends for Christmas because it's just one of my favorites, one of my go-tos, and I needed more people to know about it. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Then I have the Beauty Bakery Breakfast in Bed palette. This was a gift from my dear friend Marilyn Cole here on YouTube, Symbolism C, and I absolutely think this is so cute, and I can't wait to use it. I have not yet, but I do plan on doing so very soon. I really love it, and I'm keeping it. Then I have the Dominique Cosmetics Sweater Weather palette. I believe that's the name of this one. It's not on the palette, which I wish it was. But this is actually really cute, and it looks really like pasty in there. I thought it was going to be very like, I don't know, not opaque, but it actually performs a lot deeper than I expected, and I really like it. I don't know if it's the most inclusive thing, but on my skin tone, it looks really good, so I'm gonna keep it. Then I have the Violet Voss Berry Burst palette, and this is so good. I didn't expect to love this nearly as much as I do. It looks like just a neutral palette with some pops of red, but boy oh boy does this create the cutest berry toned looks. I'm seriously obsessed with it, and I'm definitely keeping it. Then I have the Sephora Collection Wonderful Dreams palette. Wow, this is old. This thing opens like this. Wow, how cool, huh? Fascinating. But I used this entire shadow. It's gone, guys. Can we be proud of me for a moment? I used this entire shadow. It is completely gone. That is the first and only time you'll probably ever see that. Raven doesn't do that very often, but I am proud of myself on that. And I remember doing it. I used this palette religiously for such a long time, but this was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. This was a long time ago. This palette is, yeah, she smells weird. I knew she would because this palette is like 7, 8 years old, guys. It's, wow, some nostalgia right there. But this is the kind of nostalgia that I'm okay with letting go of. It's weird. Some things I'm like, oh, this hurts. This, I'm like, okay, it's had its time. It's really, I don't know why I liked it so much because it's very basic, but this was back when Raven barely knew how to do makeup, so this was good for her, you know? I'm gonna let this one go now, though. Then I have the Butter London palette, and I don't know what this is called because there's no name on it, but I really love the packaging on this. I think it's really beautiful. The color story is cute. Okay, don't get me wrong, it is cute. A part of me wants to keep this because I do love the format and how small it is. It's curated, it's cute. Color story isn't my favorite, but it's not bad, and the packaging is gorgeous, but I know I'm never gonna use this. I've used it like twice, and I like the looks I created using it, but I just don't use it enough to justify it being in my collection, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna let somebody else get some love out of this one. Then I have the Day to Night palette from the Balm Cosmetics, and I've never used this. I don't know. It's just not really my color story. I don't really know how I got this in my collection. I think it came in a bundle on Poshmark with a few other things, so I was like, why not? So I didn't seek out for this. This isn't something I would use all that often, so I'm gonna let this one go as well. Oh my god, I think we're ending on the funniest note to end on, actually. So this is a Makeover Essentials palette, and it's called Lashing Out. So can we look at the packaging? This is absolutely atrocious, especially the back. Ew, look how dirty that is. But it's because it's like this tin material that like rusts really easily. Ew, I don't know why you'd ever do that. But anyway, the inside is even funnier, guys. Okay, look at this thing. I really don't even know how this got in my collection. I was going through my eyeshadow palettes a few months ago, and I was like, what is this? I'm like, I didn't buy this. Whose is this? And so I looked into it because I was like, I've never even heard of this brand. I've never heard of this palette. What is this, right? So I looked into it. Apparently, do you know those people who like go door to door, or like you see them at work? I saw them at my work at least, and they'll be selling makeup of brands you've never heard of, but they're like, I don't know. They're like consultants. You know what I'm talking about? I hope I'm not the only one who goes through this. But anyways, these people come up to you and they have all this makeup. It's like really weird because you've never heard of the brands, and it's just like, it's a gimmick, guys. It's a gimmick, and most people can see through that. I have seen a lot of people at my work buy it though, so I mean, maybe my mom, I don't even think my mom's not that dumb, guys. My mom was not that dumb. She would never buy this. Maybe this is one of my brother's like ex-girlfriend's palettes or something and she left behind, and maybe somehow it made its way into my collection. I really don't know. This is probably really old for there to be rust, I'd imagine. I don't really know. It's definitely, I'm never gonna use this. Ugh. I don't recommend anybody using this. It looks scary. I'm gonna let this go. Alright guys, we finally got through all of my eyeshadow palettes. I thought this would never end. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know if we were gonna get through it, guys. It was a really long 2 videos. I believe both of these are gonna probably be about an hour long. I don't know. I feel like I've been here for 3 hours. Probably have. I almost forgot about the maybe pile, guys. We have to get back to the maybe pile. But first, let me count up everything that we got decluttered within this entire decluttering, which means part 1 and part 2. And then we'll see how much leeway we have with the maybe pile. Okay, maybe that's not the best way to do this, but that's how I'm gonna do it. So I will be right back. Alright guys, I almost forgot to mention the What a Hoot palette that I am having a giveaway with, so I will count this as being decluttered. So after that, today we decluttered a total of 37 eyeshadow palettes. And listen, that is great. We love that. That sounds really impressive. Except when you think about it, we only did 21 the last video. This is 37. Altogether, that only brings us to a total of 58 eyeshadow palettes. I'm trying to get to 70. So, what I'm going to do now is go through the maybe pile. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get rid of all of the maybe pile. But how many did we have in the maybe pile? Let's see again. So we had the Caliente palette, and if I'm looking at this maybe pile, this is the one thing that I still kind of want, and everything else I'm pretty okay with letting go. So, but I really need to make that mark, and I just don't think I'm going to use it enough to justify keeping it, so I am going to let this one go. So this is 38. We have the Warrior by Juvia's Place. And I'm going to let this one go as well. This is going to be 39. I have the Warrior 2 by Juvia's Place. So that's going to be number 40. I have the Sapphires from Profusion Cosmetics. And I'm going to let this one go as well. That's going to make 41. I have the Hypnotize All Glitter Palette from Pinky Rose. And I think I'm going to let this one go as well. It's going to make 42. Okay, guys. So we didn't meet the mark. We wanted to hit 70. I got rid of 63 though, and 63 is really, really good. So let's give you a little bit of an applaud. I know I don't get a pat on the back because we didn't meet the mark, but I do think that I did still do pretty well. And I hope this video wasn't entirely too long, but I know that it was. Yeah, so I hope we had some fun though. What did you guys think? Did you guys think I was gonna make it? I kind of knew I wasn't going to, but I think I got a lot closer than I expected to, so I'm really not too mad. I would have liked to get rid of those extra 7 palettes, but I even went back through my collection after this, and I couldn't really part with any of the other ones. So for now, at least, I can't see myself doing any better than that. We'll just have to see next time. I don't plan on doing another declutter for a very long time. Probably a year. I don't really know. Don't hold me to it. But I don't plan on doing it for a while, and I do plan on getting rid of things as I go through instead of holding everything for the declutter, because that's what I did this time. And I mean, Jesus, we saw how much stuff I accumulated. It's not pretty, and I don't want to have to do this ever again. This is really long. This was a very, very long video. I'm very hungry. I'm very sleepy. I'm gonna go take a nap. But I hope we had some fun. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay beautiful. Mwah.